Hi first grade families and friends. This video is for day 4 of our math learning. This is for all of our first grade friends at Bethune. My name is Miss Burns and we're going to continue working on adding 2-digit numbers. But today, instead of using objects, we're going to actually be drawing pictures. This is one of my favorite ways to solve problems. So here's what we're working on. We're still in 1 NBT 4. That's where we're adding 2-digit numbers. And we're going to be able to draw pictures to add a 1-digit number to a 2-digit number whose sum is less than 100. Now I know yesterday we were adding a 2-digit number to a 2-digit number. For example, we might have done 22 plus 53, and we used objects to do that and set them up in a place value chart. Today, instead of using objects, we're going to be drawing pictures. Now, what I really love about drawing pictures to solve problems is that you always have a pencil and paper with you when you're solving problems, whether that's solving problems in the classroom or you're taking a test on iReady. When we're doing iReady, we're not going to have manipulatives or objects like our base 10 blocks or counters, and instead we have to use our brains and what we're able to write down on paper. So using pictures and drawing pictures is a great strategy to be able to solve any math problem that you're working on. So today, we're going to go back to doing a 2-digit plus a 1-digit number, but instead of using our objects, we're going to draw pictures. And you can see exactly how I did that right here on our anchor chart. So for example, we did 31 plus 5. Remember that we're writing our problem vertically because that's going to help us place it into our place value chart and take advantage of what we know about tens and ones. And then instead of using objects to represent my tens and pulling in 3 base 10 blocks, I just drew rods, 1, 2, 3, to represent each of those tens, and then squares for each of my ones. I followed my procedure. I added my ones, then tens, as I worked my way down my place value chart, and was able to find the sum, or what I get when I put all of my add-ins together. So we're going to practice that today with some different problems. Here's our first problem. We want to know what 11 plus 7 is. Now our first number is a 2-digit number, our second number or addend is a 1-digit number. And I'm going to solve this just like I have the rest of the week. I'm going to make this from a horizontal problem to a vertical problem. Vertical meaning that I'm making it go up and down. That's going to be easier for me when I want to insert my place value chart. So I've got 11 plus 7. I'm now going to include my place value chart. I'm labeling my tens place with a T for tens, labeling my ones place with an O for ones. Now here's where the pictures come in. Yesterday and the day before, this is the part where I would start pulling in my objects, right? One group of 10 for 11, one leftover 1, because 11 has one group of 10 and one leftover 1. And then I would grab my other ones to build my 7. But here's the thing, you're not going to have these objects with you all the time. They can help you learn the concept and understand how to go through this problem-solving process, but you won't always have these with you. But you will have a pencil and you will have paper, and pictures can be just as helpful. So instead of using these objects, I'm going to draw a representational picture. Now, I'm going to give myself a little key over here on the side. A key is going to tell me what each of my pictures represents. A rod or a stick is going to be for a 10. A square is what I'm going to draw to represent a 1. Now if I keep that in mind, I can draw these pictures really quickly and easily. I'm going to take a look at my first addend. My first addend is a 2-digit number. It has a 1 in the tens place, a 1 in the ones place. Well, I can represent that 1 in the tens place, which is one group of 10, with a picture, one stick or one rod. Now I have a 1 over here in the ones place. Be careful. This 1 over here in the ones place is not a group of 10. It might look like this picture of a rod or a stick, but the rod or the stick is a 10. And this 1 is inside the ones place. So instead of drawing a rod or a stick, I'm drawing my square representing my 1. 11 is the same as one group of 10 plus one left over 1. Here's my 11. Now I'm moving down my place value chart. I added excuse me, now I need to represent my 7. 7 doesn't have any groups of 10. One-digit numbers do not have any groups of 10, but it does have 7 ones. So I'm going to represent that by drawing 7 ones. And just like I would place my ones, my cubes, my blocks, as if they were inside of an imaginary 10 frame, we're pretending there's a 10 frame here. Remember, that's got 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing as I'm drawing my pictures. That's going to help me when I move on to regrouping later. Regrouping happens when I have more than 9 ones over here and I actually have to bundle them together to make a new 10. We aren't doing any regrouping yet, but this strategy of organizing inside of an invisible 10 frame is going to help me when I get there. So now that I've drawn pictures to represent my 10s and my 1s, now all I have to do is move down my place value chart and add them up. So I know that 1 plus 7 is the same as 7 plus 1 because of the commutative property of addition. I can flip around the numbers in an addition problem and add them in any order. 7 plus 1, that's easy. Any number plus 1 is just the next number. So 7 plus 1 or 1 plus 7 is 8. I have 8 ones. I'm going to come over to my 10 side. I have one group of 10 that's coming from my 11. I don't have any 10s coming from my 7, so I have 1 10 plus 0 10s is 1 10. 11 plus 7 is 18, or one group of 10 plus 8 leftover ones. Drawing my picture and representing what is happening with those pictures is going to really help me solve these problems quickly. All right, we're going to clear our board and move on to the next problem. I'm going to keep my little key up here just to remind myself that a stick or a rod is standing for a 10, a square is a 1. Okay, our next problem, remember we're doing 2-digit numbers plus 1-digit numbers, is 23 plus 5. Now, just like yesterday, we said we can turn these into story problems. We can absolutely do this here. Let's say, you guys know I have cats. Let's say that my cats found 23 mice. That would be crazy. And then they found 5 more. And we wanted to know the sum or how many they found all together. That's our unknown. That's our question mark. So I'm going to take this problem, this addition problem that's written horizontally, and I'm making it vertical. By changing it and making it go vertically, I can easily drop in my place value chart and use what I know about place value to help me solve this problem. I'm writing a T for 10s, an O for 1s. Great. Well, today we're solving problems by drawing pictures, just like I did here. And I know that I can draw my rods or sticks to represent my 10s. I know I can then draw my squares to represent my 1s. And after I do that, I'm going to move down my place value chart and add my add my 1s and then my 10s. Okay. So let's represent 23. Well, 23 is made up of 2 10s. I'm going to draw them with my sticks or my rods. 1, 2. Be careful, that is not the number 11. Each of these stands for one group of 10. 10, 20. 2 groups of 10 is the same as 20. I now have to draw 3 leftover ones. Keeping in mind I'm trying to do this inside of my invisible 10 frame, that's going to help me out once I get to regrouping, where I have more than 9 ones, and I'm going to have to bundle them together to make a new group of 10. 2 groups of 10 and 3 leftover ones is 23. Now I'm going to show my 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again inside of my invisible 10 frame. Well, my next step is to add my 1s and then my 10s. Well, 3 plus 5, I'm not sure if I can do that one in my head. I'm going to start with my biggest number, which is 5, and then count on. 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 1s. And my 10s are quite easy to figure out. I have 2 groups of 10 coming from my 23. I don't have any 10s coming from my 5. That's what's making it a 1-digit number. 2 10s plus 0 10s is 2 10s. So 23 plus 5 is 28, or 2 10s and 8 1s. Okay, drawing that picture. to help represent what is happening is helping me solve these 2-digit plus 1-digit problems. Last problem, and then you're on your own to try this, folks. You got to try this out. We want to know what is 42, that's my 2-digit number, plus 6, that's my 1-digit number. And so again, I'm taking my problem that is written out horizontally or side to side, and I'm going to put it vertically, up and down. That's going to help me organize my add-ins, or the numbers I'm adding together, inside of my place value chart. Here's my tens place. I'm labeling it with a T for 10. Here's my ones place. O for ones. Now today I'm using not objects, not my base 10 blocks, because I'm not going to have these, as useful as they are, they're not going to be around when I'm taking my iReady tests. Instead, I'm drawing pictures. Pictures are useful because you're always going to have a pencil and a piece of paper when you're taking tests. Okay, so let's represent 42 with our picture. I know that my stick or my rod is representing my 10. I know that my square is representing my 1. Well, let's think about what we know about place value. The 4 here is not actually 4. It's not 4 ones. It's in the tens place. This is actually telling me I have 4 groups of 10. So I'm going to have to draw in 1, 2, 3, 4 tens. If I were to count these up by tens, I would get 40. 10, 20, 30, 40. But we don't just have 4 tens. We also have 2 leftover ones. So I'm going to draw in my 2 leftover ones using squares to represent each one. Now I'm moving on to my second add-in, my second number I'm adding. I've got 6 leftover ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing this in an invisible 10 frame. So remember, the top row has 5. I'm now moving down to my second row, 6. Well, my next step, if I'm not quite sure, I'm going to come back to my chart. We're doing 2-digit plus 1-digit addition today. And once we set this up and we draw our pictures, I've got to move down my place value chart and add my ones, then my tens. Okay, I'm going to add my ones, then my tens. Well, 2 plus 6, I'm not sure really what that is. So I'm going to start with my bigger number and then count on 6, 7, 8. I have 8 ones. Some friends might even choose to move these 2 ones right down here. And they can see inside of a 10 frame that's 8. Whichever is most helpful to you. Now I'm going to move over to my tens, and I'm moving down my place value chart. I have 4 groups of 10 that I'm adding to 0 tens. So I have 4 groups of 10. So 42 plus 6 is 48. That's the same thing as saying 4 groups of 10, which is 40, plus 8 leftover ones is 48. All right, friends, that concludes our lesson for today. Next week, we will continue working on 2-digit addition, and instead of drawing pictures to solve 2-digit plus 1-digit problems, we're going to go back to adding 2-digit plus 2-digit problems, using those pictures to help us. Make sure that you click on the link below to complete your assignment, and have a wonderful weekend, guys.